In many places around the state where it's possible, the wheels are turning in the fields. We're going to talk about some of that with Tom Hoffman. And Tom is the agronomy sales lead with Allied Cooperative. And on our Allied Co-op program this morning, you can reach Tom mainly over in the Marshfield office in central Wisconsin. And Tom, when I say that, I think about last year, and I'm sure you, like other farmers in central Wisconsin, hope we don't have a repeat of last year where we were still planting corn in some cases in July to try and get a little silage off. Things better over there this year?
Well, I think we're off to a good start. I mean, obviously we've had some rains here very late, very significant rains, so we got to dry out again. But previous to this, I thought we were off to a normal start. With that being said, I mean, if we can get some activity in very late April, but through the first half of May, that's normally a very good year. And I'm optimistic that can still happen, but obviously that would be significantly better than last year. Last year really was a challenge.
What about the do's and don'ts now of do we plant corn? Do we plant beans? What kind of information, what kind of conversations do you have with farmers as we get in full speed ahead with the planting season?
We do see some soybeans being planted in these last 10 years significantly earlier than they ever used to be. I mean, we have found out that beans are pretty tough and they'll tolerate a fair amount of adversity. So, and obviously when we have beans early, it does stimulate some early vegetative growth, and we've seen some benefit and final yield to early planted beans. Now, with that being said, we still want those to emerge, evenly and well. And we still do have that risk. Could we have a killing frost? Let's just pick an example. Third week of May, certainly we could. We hope we don't. They do tolerate a little frost, but we still have to be conscious of that. But I do think we have some people putting in beans with some good success early, and then in many cases doing that before corn. But either way, I think part of it's that we get to this stage. Here we are, this part of April, really about when you have fields ready, we can just pretty much go through and just get seed in the ground from here on out.
And we've got cover crops pretty well taken care of, so the fields are ready because we need to go when it's time to go.
Yeah, so I think we do see more cover crop usage, which is good. But please take care of the weed control early on that. We've seen even the previous 2 years when it was a wet year, cover crops, if you didn't take care of it early, can be a challenge, and in a dry year it can be a challenge. So no matter what, please be very proactive in taking care of your early weed control with cover crops. And obviously if you're taking out a sod stand or something like that, but my suggestion is just don't wait real long on that. If you're going to err on the early side of taking it out.
And what weeds are you talking to farmers about the most? Water hemp, giant ragweed, mare's tail? What are you hearing, and what are you talking about?
Well, when we have the cover crops, obviously fall rye gets to be a significant cover crop, but in our annual weed control, giant ragweed and water hemp are two very challenging weeds, and you have to give those a lot of attention. Try to use some pre-emergent sprays early, and be cognizant of the fact that you probably will have to follow up in almost all cases with a second pass, to make sure that you have season-long control.
And make sure that the planter is working right. You don't want to plant a whole field and find out you had a few skips in there. That can be pretty frustrating and expensive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just make sure that equipment is tuned up, and you really don't want skips with any of that. Go back. So much of what we do, we get one opportunity to do it right the first time, and we have to take the steps accordingly to just make sure you're trying to do it correctly the first time. A month later, correcting an action just isn't productive and not as profitable.
No, not by a long shot. Very expensive. And, Tom, I guess a word as we get out there, we haven't used equipment all winter unless we're spread manure or something like that, but we've got big equipment out there. Let's be conscious of farm safety. Yeah,
everybody just needs to be very, very conscious of that. I know as we have our group, we try to stress the importance of safety. Everybody gets it's a busy time of the year. We get so tunnel vision. We got to go. But sometimes you just got to just take a moment to just maybe slow down, think, and just take time to be careful, be cautious of people around us. And even the people around us, our farmers need to be very careful for what they do. but hopefully we even have our neighbors around us that are also being respectful. There is big equipment that doesn't stop on a dime. It's large. There's more blind spots, so everybody has to be cautious.
Everybody has to be aware of farm safety and make sure the lights are working, the SMV signs are good, and if you're driving around taking a look in the country, be aware of this farm equipment. You get in a fight with it, you're not going to win, that's for sure. Hey, Tom, springtime always a fun time to talk as the world comes to life, so to speak, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Hey, sounds good.
All right, Tom Hoffman, Tom Agronomy Sales Lead with Allied Cooperative. Tom, headquartered over in that Marshfield area, with us this morning on our Allied Cooperative program. I'm Bob Bosold.